Welcome back to Impossibly Unremarkable, a podcast hosted by myself, Jonathan Butts, and my longtime friend, co-host, and compadre, Elliott Markson.
That is right, and today we are the three amigos. Am I right? Is that correct?
Right.
Cheers, boys. What's going on?
Yeah, that's right. We are joined today by the one, the only, the podcaster, host of Drink O'Clock, the Rob Max ABV. Right?
Yeah, you got it.
I got it. I thought I messed up the name for a second, and I kind of slowed down, but I got it. We're good. How's it going, Rob?
You gotta trust yourself.
Yeah, have faith in yourself, bro. You got this.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
We believe in you. How you boys been? It's been a while. This is my first podcast that I agreed to do an interview for.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, so you're
honored.
You're popping my cherry a little bit.
I think we've popped each other's cherries.
We did. We're each other's first.
Your podcast was the first that we guessed on.
All right, I like it.
Tit for tat, quid pro quo situation.
Scratch your bag, you scratch mine. You know.
That's right. I love it.
So where have we? Where? Oh, great, man. But where have we left off? You know, where do we? So I think we talked about what your vacations. The things that we don't like on sandwiches. I mean, we have so much more in the works, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. We explored it all. Today I want to start off, Rob, as we start a lot of episodes on our podcast, with search history. So I'd like to dive into your mind for just a brief second, and
absolutely
have you share yours right off the bat, so we can get an idea of what goes on in your head a little bit.
Okay. All right. Let me see. What's the easiest way to do search history? Is it through my activity on Google?
Yeah. Whatever you've been searching, whatever you're willing to share.
Oh, that's all of it. Maybe it's better on my. Maybe it's better on my phone. Where's my phone?
I think it's better for most people on their phone. I mean, that's where I do my.
That's where I go for my quick searches. Yeah, that's true. That's where the juicy stuff lives.
So, the past couple things I Googled, because I'm a degenerate. So, do you guys know what lightning roulette is?
No. What is that?
Is gambling on your phone legal in your states yet?
No.
I think it is about to be, actually, here in Minnesota.
They're in the process, yeah.
They're in the process, but no, it's not legal yet.
Don't download it. It's terribly amazing. Anyway, lightning roulette is it's in-person roulette on your phone. So it's live. And it's traditional roulette, but the cool thing is like there's different styles of roulette. Okay. So you have American roulette, which of course, anytime you involve Americans, you involve capitalism, and they need to tilt it in our favor, right?
Of course.
So there's two green. Have you guys ever played roulette?
Yes. In the casino. Yeah.
Played and lost.
Okay. It's my favorite game. It's my favorite game at the casino because I can tend to like sit and talk to people, and it's people hitting. It's fun. It's not like craps. Craps is pretty insane. I still don't really understand it, but that's where like most of the fun in the casino is. But anyway, lightning roulette with Americanized version, you have 0 and 00. Okay. In regular original roulette, there was no zeros, so there was no real house edge. Because you can bet red, you can bet black, you bet your numbers, but if 0 hits, you lose all of it. So whether you're betting inside or outside or whatever, lightning roulette only has 0. So there's no 00, which tilts the odds a little bit more in your favor.
Right.
And it has lightning rounds. So every round they pick 1 to 5 numbers that are lightning.
Oh,
I'm doing air quotes here for people who can't see, but and they'll give you a bonus of 50 times to 500 times.
Oh, damn.
It's just a random number. Like they just select one at random, and it's like this. Do they tell you beforehand? Like this is obviously they don't. That makes no sense. But like you hit your number, it's the lightning number. You're like, oh shit.
They have this crazy fucking room that's got lightning all in it, and she hits this switch or he hits this switch on the wall, which does nothing. It's totally aesthetic. But then that's when they reveal the numbers, and it's after everyone stops betting. So you don't know the numbers beforehand.
Right.
And it could be anywhere from 1 number to 5 numbers. So it's not just like one and it could be the same number a couple times, whatever. But we were playing it all day on Saturday and we hit a couple times. I had 40 cents on the number. I won like $200. Like,
wow.
Dude, you hit a 500x number. It's insane. My fiance won a couple $100. Easy.
Wow.
Oh my god.
On $15 bets. Anyway, so I Googled when is Lightning Roulette available, because apparently it's only available in certain times for the day. Let's see what's next.
I'm gonna be honest. When you said when you asked if we knew what Lightning Roulette was, I assumed it was like a hard drug or like a sex position.
I was thinking like a bunch of people getting out into a field during a storm and just hold up metal rods and just see who gets hit. That's what I was thinking in my head. But I mean,
you know
I
what? Plausible, right?
Your version makes a lot more sense, you know?
The next thing I Googled was Tom Sizemore. So I don't know if you guys know who that guy is, but apparently he had like a crazy brain aneurysm and he's dying.
What?
Oh, who is that?
That name sounds super familiar.
He is. So if you guys Google him, he's like, his best known thing was Saving Private Ryan, but he was in Black Hawk Down, Natural Born Killers. Most recently, he was in what show was that? Hold on, let me look. Oh, he's in Cobra Kai. He was one of the guys in Cobra Kai.
Oh yeah, I know this guy. Not personally, but I've seen him. He's
I
dying.
know him.
That's horrible.
He had a
that's awful.
he randomly had a brain aneurysm, and I just saw it on Twitter, so I'm like, what do I know him from? Because his face looks so familiar.
Yeah.
You know. So that is on my Google list. I looked up rotisserie chicken calories because I'm not trying to be fat.
How many calories are in a rotisserie chicken?
200 every 4 ounces. For Nature's Promise. I can't promise you about anything else.
Oh, man.
For Nature's Promise. Aleve back and muscle pain dosage because I fucking pulled my back lifting yesterday and I was in incredible pain. So I was like, can I take more than one? I think is what I should have Googled.
I love how practical all of these are.
Yeah, these make too much sense, Rob. I was hoping for something a little more off the rails, but you know, that's cool. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I mean, no, you're right. Like these are. Let me see if there's anything crazy on here.
Turns out that you're not crazy. You're just a regular person.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you guys.
For me.
This was maybe, it's not gonna be on here now. This was maybe like 2 weeks ago. I woke up at like 4 a.m. and I couldn't go back to sleep until I Googled, is 2 Chainz still alive? Because I haven't heard a 2 Chainz like cameo in I don't know how long. And he turns out he's alive. He is.
He's alive and well. He's kicking it. 2 Chainz is doing his thing.
And he's a lot older than I anticipated. He's like in his late 40s.
Yeah, he's old. He's been rapping for a while now. Did you see one time 2 Chainz did a whole tour in a wheelchair because at the beginning of his tour he broke his leg, but he refused to cancel the tour, so he did the rest of it in a wheelchair.
Now that's some baller
true
shit.
True story. Everyone needs to be a little more like 2 Chainz.
Yeah, that's. I wish that was still on here. So other than that, it is pretty tame right now.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Speaking of search history, I do have one thing I want everybody to look up right now, if you can. Look up.
Is this going to cause the police to come to my door?
No.
Like how to hide a decomposing body or some crazy shit?
Are you familiar with one of the assistant coaches of the Carolina Panthers, whose name is Dom Capers?
I am actually.
You know what Dom Capers looks like?
I don't know what he looks like, but I know his name.
Go ahead and look up Dom Capers' hair and just look at the images. I just need you to see this.
His face kind of gives me like almost George Bush vibes.
Look at this man.
Hair looks awful.
If you're looking at it,
it's immaculate. Like it can't be real, right?
His hair is 100% real. He has dyed his hair for, I'm guessing, ever, because he is 72 years old and it is jet black. He looks like a Lego man. It's incredible.
I saw one that like his hair looked like auburn, not like pure black.
My theory on this is that he started dyeing his hair when he was super just started to go gray, and then he just never stopped, and he's just kept it up the whole time, and now it's come to this.
I mean, it's like Mr. Potato Head, you know? It's like, you know, you could like unplug his hair and then just plug on a hat.
Exactly. It's crazy. I can't believe he's a real human being, but
fucking dumb.
when I saw that, I was like, this is Photoshop, this is fake. Did further research. It's real. That's his hair. That's what he looks like.
But here's the crazy thing though. His hair looks like it's been the same for 50 years. Like, look at this picture. It's the same thing. And he's like, what, 35 years younger?
Yeah, so either he's dyeing it or everything has aged but his hair.
He was a Bill Cowher coaching assistant in 1992.
Oh my God.
I was 6.
You were 6? Holy shit. I'm just kidding.
I'm old.
For the audience out there, Rob is old as shit. Just kidding.
He is. Kidding, gray hair and all, man.
You're going to drive him away, man.
No, seriously. Like, getting old's fucking awful, guys. Like, I shit you not. Let me tell this story real quick before you get on to the next crazy thing you're going to have me do.
Please.
So recently, you'll notice I'm wearing glasses. For everyone listening, I'm wearing glasses. And I've always had shitty vision. Like, without my glasses or my contacts, I'm fucking blind. Okay. But I've always known that. So, like, I go to the eye doctor every year. He looks at my eyes. We go over this. I get the same relative prescription. Well, I went to the eye doctor in November. Got my normal shit. My eyes got a little bit worse, but not really bad. I have like astigmatism on the left eye. And then recently, over the past month, my vision has gotten progressively worse, like to the point where I could notice, even with my glasses on and my contacts in. So like I couldn't read like closed caption on my TV from my bed. So, and
you had your contacts and your glasses on at the same time. You were double wrapped.
I did not double wrap. My eyes aren't pirate hookers, but it's dude, it's a crazy thing because apparently when you get old, shit just breaks, and then when you go to the doctor, they don't know why. So I go to my eye doctor in an emergency appointment, and he puts it's the most eye drops I've ever had in my eyes. You know, the ones that like fucking make light hurt your eyes, all this crazy stuff. And they scan my eyeballs, they look behind my eyeballs, they do everything. And he's like, yeah, your eyes look totally fine. Like, have you made any lifestyle changes? And I was like, well, last week I stopped drinking energy drinks. And I drank energy drinks for 18 years, at least one a day, every day for 18 years. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, it's bad.
Hey.
And I decided to be a little bit healthier and drink 1 cup of coffee.
Yeah.
That's it. So I bought an espresso machine, and it's just an 8-ounce cup of coffee. I put a little bit of like no sugar, creamer, whatever. And when I told him that, he's like, to be honest, that might be part of it, because your body's been so used to drinking caffeine, like 500, 600, 700 milligrams of caffeine every day. And he's like, all the other crazy chemicals in energy drinks, he's like, it's been known to have like weird side effects if you just stop. Like, I haven't had one in a week and a half. And it blew my fucking mind that it could do that to me.
What I'm
Don't quit
taking
any
away
of
from
your
this
habits.
is that energy drinks, they give you the vision.
They give you sight.
I was very close to just chugging one because, dude,
it comes back immediately.
I don't know how to explain it, but like, I think one of my deepest fears is going blind. I mean, it's got to be other people's too, but like, I don't want to fucking go blind, and I don't want to lose my mind. I need those two things. Yeah. So I'm thinking to myself, like, fuck, like, I'm going blind. I said to my girl, I'm like, I think I'm fucking going blind. Like, your vision doesn't just deteriorate. Like, it was 4 clicks worse. That's what my ophthalmologist told me. And he's like, which is kind of crazy because I just got my eyes checked. So he's like, if it doesn't get any better in 2 weeks, we're going to have to give you a new prescription. It's like, here I am trying to be fucking healthy, and it fucks me.
Yeah. Wow. Just goes to show. Don't try, people. It's not worth it. Keep your unhealthy habits, because if you stop them, you could just lose a sense altogether.
One of the only 5 cents you have is going to get worse.
You only got 5.
Now, Rob, I got a question because, Elliott can't really relate or participate because he's a perfect-eyed bastard. But I'm wondering if you've ever had the same anxieties I've had about getting a new prescription, because when you're doing the test and they're like, is image 1 better or 2? 1 or 2? Have you, because that's how they determine, how good your vision is, using that, weird ass glass thing that they have on you. Have you ever said like to yourself, if I give them the wrong number, I'm going to fuck up my prescription?
I just did it last week. I'm like, he's like, is this one better? 1 or 2? And I'm like, he's like, 1 or 2? And I'm like, one more time. 1? And he has to say 1 or 2. I guess that's just like their thing, you know? And I'm like, they're the same. It was like a 30-second interaction, and I end with, it's the same,
Because you reach a point where it's kind of just guessing what looks better, because then they get to like the 3. Is the 4 better than the 1? Was the 2 better than yesterday's 3? They just keep going back and like referencing old numbers, and you're like,
that's how they do that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That seems flawed. There's got
Have
to
you
be a
never
better
had
way.
an eye exam?
Not since I was like a kid, when they would like evaluate your eyes to see if you needed glasses, but then
Wait,
ever
really?
since then,
You've
Yeah, I
never
mean, like,
been
I've
to
had-
the eye doctor?
I've had 20/20 vision my whole life, dude.
You lucky fuck.
Doesn't wait. I thought everyone just went to the eye doctor.
I haven't been since, I don't know. I was a kid. I don't know. I haven't been in years.
I mean, for some people, I
Decades.
guess it's kind of like the dentist, right? Like if you have no issues with your teeth, you're probably not going to go to the dentist.
It's not like the dentist, because I just don't know I don't need glasses. But the dentist, I need to clean my teeth. I need to go. Although I should go more often. That is one thing I need to do. But
Yeah, I mean, look, it's
it's a little different. It's a little
yeah,
different.
I guess it's a little different. I mean, I go to both because obviously, I guess I'm just old and unhealthy.
Look at this guy. Look at this. He goes to the dentist and the eye doctor.
Yeah, this guy. But I even at the end of my appointment, I'm like, hey doc, so do you like medical marvels like me? Like, is that like? He's like, it's like not on the front end. I don't really know what the fuck that meant when he said that. I guess because like he has to tell me I'm going blind, And then worst of all, I left my fucking favorite hoodie there because it was hot that day, and I called him, and I still decided that I'm too lazy to stop there.
You just come back in. He's wearing your lucky hoodie or your favorite.
I'm like, is
hoodie.
that my fucking hoodie?
It's my fucking hoodie.
Yeah, it's not been a good 2 weeks for me, guys. I hate wearing glasses. I've been wearing contacts since I was in high school, so it's like I'm so used to it. Now I wear my glasses around the house to give my eyes a break, but it's a wild thing to go from like seeing with your prescription to like I was driving and I'm like, I can't read any of the street signs right now. Like it was
Oh no!
If it's any consolation at all, I think you look great with glasses. I think that goes for like 99% of people. You look better with glasses. Because like me,
true.
I wore contacts for like a couple days for a couple years, and it was just too big of a hassle. But I look so weird without glasses, right?
Yeah, I feel like the glasses fit your face really well.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So
you both look
we have
great
like
with
the
glasses.
same glasses, except mine are a little bit thinner here.
Yeah.
But they're like the same style. I've always liked just the regular black frame, like no crazy shit. I almost bought like, the Oakley ones or whatever, but they're too fancy, man. I don't need that shit.
Last time I went, one of the lady helping me tried to talk me into like a turtle shell frame. Like the black and like it's like very.
They killed
feminine.
a turtle for those glasses.
This guy doesn't know shit about glasses.
It's going to a good cause, buddy.
This healthy motherfucker over here.
All right. Well, I think Rob, you should take some time to talk about your podcast. Maybe introduce yourself a little bit before we get too far off the rails.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
Thanks,
Absolutely.
boys. So, my podcast is the Drink O'Clock Podcast. My handle is Max ABV. So to kind of like put it in perspective on where that came from, I streamed for 4 years, and what can I say about streaming? I met some really cool people. Some of my best friends, online anyway, that I game with and shit, I met online from streaming. And it's a cool thing to do. I was probably making like $150 a month, which is playing video games. Like, it was something I could do. But, you also have to, like, I had to buy a fucking green screen that could stand up because I don't have a wall behind me. I had to buy decent audio equipment and stuff like that. But as I was streaming, I was like growing my channel. I was doing a lot of the stuff that you do with a podcast. But every time I would play a game, so like, I played Valorant a lot or Call of Duty or whatever, I would get on a team, I'd start talking, and people were like, dude, it sounds like you are an announcer or like you do a podcast. Do you do those? I'm like, no. They're like, you should. And like, I know people say that, and it's like, maybe someone said that to him once. It was every time I played. Every single time I played, people were like, dude, your voice is good. You should do something like that. So I'm like, all right, I'll try it. So I'm like, all right, what do I do that could be unique? So then I tied my podcast into interviewing streamers and esports people and like YouTubers. Because a lot of times you might not know what they look like or who they are behind their, handle, like PewDiePie or Hiko or whoever it is. And so my first like 5 or 6 podcasts was me getting loaded. When I started my podcast, I actually would take 2 or 3 shots of Fireball throughout, along with my beverages. And I would get so shitty at the end because I don't take shots like that I'm like, all right, I need to like keep my composure a little bit.
Yeah.
And be a little bit. I was still good. I was still fine, but I knew myself. I'm like, all right, I can't do that. Right. But then I found that Reddit channel, and there was a lot of people on there. It's hard to find streamers and stuff like that on a consistent basis to interview. There's a lot, but they also have like esports organizations, and managers, and like getting through the door for a lot of stuff was harder. So I'm like, I'll just open up and interview whoever I think's interesting, or whoever wants to come on and just shoot the shit. And I changed that. So around episode 6, I think, or 7 is when I changed it. And I've been having so much more fun because I've interviewed, you guys were on. It was a fucking blast. I think you guys might have been, no, you guys were my second time I had like multiple people on, so it's fun to kind of coordinate that. I told you guys I had that one sex podcaster on, Ruin Willow. She's awesome. Over the past, I'm at like episode 21 or 22. I've had a bunch of esports people, the sex podcaster. I've had someone from the like UK who was also an actor. You guys have probably seen his stuff. It's Christian. He's in that Reddit group a lot. I've had a writer for Consciousness who was fucking amazing, dude. So like I've had so many just cool, interesting people. So I'm happy I opened it up. And I got some pretty cool interviews coming up. I got a interview with a professional cuddler.
What?
The job is to professionally cuddle people. So I'm stoked for that one. I have a ghost hunter that I'm going to be interviewing this week.
Oh my God.
So it's
jealous. That sounds fucking incredible.
So it started out as like I wanted to show people who esports people were behind their handles, which why I kept Max ABB. And then after interviewing other people, I just said, fuck it, I'll just interview whoever. So that's kind of my podcast in a nutshell. I drink, I interview people, ask them dumb questions. We talk a lot about kind of whatever, man. It's for me, and this is why I stopped streaming and just did the podcast. It's my own property, right?
Right.
I can say what I want. I can do what I want. With streaming, you're getting paid $5 to entertain people that are 15 years old that don't give a shit how good you are at a game or how entertaining you are. And it's so fucking toxic. Like I wanted a spot and a safe place where people could come and just talk to me about whatever they want. And I won't judge them. whatever their opinion is, as long as they're not like blatantly racist, because that's fucked up, you know. Like, but I want people to be able to kind of talk about whatever they want, because people have opinions, and unfortunately, in today's day and age, if your opinion's not the mass opinion, then you tend to just not say your opinion because you don't want to be yelled at. So that's kind of my podcast in a nutshell.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think your podcast is super cool. I think, like you said, you get just such a diverse amount of guests. So like every episode is just totally different in terms of like the conversation and everything. So it's like you get different perspectives and learn something. I mean, that one where it was like the consciousness one was insane. Like that was one that I listened to, and he was so interesting, man. Like just what he was talking about and the mind and all that shit, like super cool. What's out of all the guests you've had, I know you named a bunch that were super interesting. Who's somebody that would be like a dream guest for you who you haven't had on that you want to get on the podcast?
It's a good question. I don't know if I have a dream guest. I'd like to get some more sports people. Like my dream would be to get like a professional athlete, like you know, someone from the Philly area. So like Jason Kelsey or
any of those losers.
They are losers, unfortunately, but there are losers. Now, like Embiid, like just like someone local to the Philly area. I think that would be a lot of fun. Because I haven't gotten a whole lot of like sports figures. I don't think I have anyone really that has done that as a sports person. But
Jason Kelsey has his own podcast. I mean, that'd be crazy.
Yeah, him and his brother, dude. It's pretty good too. Those guys are great. But like, I don't know. That would probably be what I would want. I want more like thrill seeking shit too. Like. People that risk their lives doing crazy shit. I'd love to have some more of that on the show. But like I just had this girl, it's Attuned Alignment, and she does like spiritual readings and shit. And that was pretty wild. Because she talked a lot about like how astral signs and you're kind of like, so everyone's familiar with like your sun, which is like your birth sign. But there's also a rising and a moon, which is based on like where you're born, the time, and things like that, and how that makes you who you are. And their podcast is pretty cool because they're like looking at serial killers. Like this is their past season, and they're looking at their astral charts and when all the shit went off the rails, and they're like looking at it, and it's like pairing up like significant, like very well. Like it's almost like a science.
That's great. So like there is a correlation with these serial killers and their like astral signs and everything.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. And so like more of that. Like I love like the I love conspiracy theories. So I could probably talk about that shit for days. Like technology, more people. I'd love to get more people in the AI field. Because it's getting pretty fucking crazy. I don't know if you guys have seen this stuff about ChatGPT and Bing, but it's pretty wild. I don't know if you saw.
It's scary how good like the script writing and the AI imagery has become. Like it's so good now, and like I've people are using it in so many different ways. Like kids are using it for homework. People are using it like for copywriting, for work materials. It's kind of wild,
Dude, if I was a coder, I would be very scared.
Yeah.
Like you could very easily code through ChatGPT, Python, Java, C++. And here's the thing. I don't think it's ever okay, maybe I'm going over here. So I think eventually it'll replace people in certain areas.
Everywhere? No more people?
Probably. But I think eventually like coders, like right now, something that would take you 8 hours to code, you can ask ChatGPT to do a base code for you, and you could just go in and kind of make it work better, and just kind of tweak it. You don't have to spend 8 hours, and it's an 8 hour job is an hour job now or less. but I think, and I was talking to someone earlier today at work about this, that because they were asking me, because we're starting to use some of that in our marketing department. I think from an AI perspective, it is going to eliminate a lot of jobs eventually. But what it is going to do, it's going to create opportunities for people to be basically what they call like AI liaisons. So it's not about necessarily how good at your specific job you are, but it's how good you're able to talk to the AI to get it the desired output that you want.
Oh, that's so interesting.
So if you're a coder,
Yeah.
you know, like it's like, all right, I know how to ask for basic stuff, but if I'm not an advanced coder, I'm not going to know how to get the, you know, Python output that an expert coder would. So it's going to be about really how you communicate with the AI, not necessarily how good at your job you are. And people are starting to figure that out now, because if you guys have played with it, ChatGPT is really cool, but it's only as good as how you get the desired output that you get. And I always ask it, please, by the way.
Lonely job. You do?
I always do. I can't.
Very cordial.
Dude, I don't know. I guess I'm just old school. So, like, you know, I'm very polite when it comes to asking people to do shit for me. So even if it's a computer, I still feel like I have to ask it, please.
No, I do this. I do the exact same thing, like with the Alexa in the morning. Like, hey Alexa, can you tell me the weather, please? Which seems so silly, but you know, maybe she appreciates it. You know.
Well, when
you guys are building goodwill with the AI and the computers, so when they turn on us, they'll be easier on you guys. Yeah, well, I just talk shit to my Alexa. I just tell her she's a bitch and all that stuff.
Yeah, translation, Elliott's like, hey, Alexa, bitch, what's the weather?
I'm just kidding, guys.
Oh my God, no, not you, Alexa, shut up.
So Rob, I'm curious. You've talked a lot about, especially when you're getting started with, you know, interviewing streamers, you want to try to get beyond and learn more about the person behind the streamer. I'm curious to know, have you learned anything about yourself since you started podcasting?
Ooh. You guys are asking me a lot of introverted questions. I like it. Well, I've always been a creative person. So, and I've always been analytical. And I've learned that doing podcasting, those are like some of the two main elements in a lot of the stuff that you do, you know? So like, a lot goes into the preparation before I have somebody on, right? I have to analyze their content. So I have to listen to, if you have a podcast, I have to listen to it. Or if you're a YouTube creator, if you're a streamer, I have to watch your stuff to get a feel for who you are. And then my prep is normally a couple days, and I'll have a Word document that I save with your name on it. And I have a list of questions that it's like, all right, you know, these are the questions I absolutely want to ask. And if we have extra time, these are the questions we can get to. And I talk a lot. So odds of us getting to the second set of questions are typically low, but that always leaves it open to have people on a second time or have like a group show or something like that. But, you know, I've learned that I'm pretty good at it. You know, I don't know if it's going to turn into anything, you know, it's a hobby. If it does, great. It's cool. I really enjoyed, I enjoy doing it 10 times more than I do streaming. Just because you're like growing something, you know, it's streaming. You can kind of just stumble upon it because someone could raid you with 5,000 people and then, you know, you gain followers that way. With doing a podcast, it's a business. You know, and you guys, I'm sure, can attest to that, right? You got to market it. You have to find ways to do what you're doing and doing it better. Like my intro and my outro, I just had to have it redone because originally it had streamers in it. So like if you listen to my episode 1 to now, I actually had to cut out part of it because it was silly to say, you know, esports and streamers if I'm not interviewing an esports streamer. So I had to go into audio and kind of play with it, and it didn't sound right. So I had the guy I had do the originals redo them for me. Just they're different now. They're more conversational, like intro, outro. But I think that's probably it. I mean, I've learned that my skill set is better suited to doing podcasting than streaming.
Yeah, I agree. You're like super good conversationalist, which is why I think your podcast is good. Has there ever been a guest where you like were talking to them and you're like, man, this person really is not good at conversating and I'm carrying this thing right now? You don't have to name them.
It was us.
It was us. It was us.
No. There's been one or two where it was a little bit more. It was hard. It was more one-sided. Like, it was harder to draw, because like I'm a feedback person. So like when I'm talking to you guys, like I expect, like that's why I like having the video on, because I like to see you guys. And I play off of emotions and functions. Like when I do public speaking at work sometimes, and it's the same thing. Like if I have an audience of 50 people, I feed off of them. If they're not giving me anything, and sometimes it happens where they're just like, nope. It makes the meeting so much worse. So I've had one or two people where it's a little difficult to draw more information or draw kind of like the stuff that I need from them to make the conversation flow a little bit better. But there's also times where people are nervous.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, like, and it's funny. I've had people say, "Hey, I had a lot of fun. I'm so sorry. Like, I was nervous." I'm like, "No, you did fine. What are you talking about?" You know, but and that's always my worry, because a lot of times I'm not meeting you guys beforehand. We're communicating through email and text and whatever, and then when you get on, I'm hoping it's good. You know, you have some sort of personality,
right? Hoping the person behind the emails actually knows how to talk in real life. But yeah, I mean, I get it. Like feeding off the energy of like actually seeing the person, it makes a huge difference for sure.
It helps, yeah, because you ask a question, there's like, yeah, all right. Cool.
Okay. Want to elaborate?
What's next? Who was your biggest inspiration? My dad.
What are your dreams? What's your biggest fear?
I have like a list of like backup questions.
Oh, really?
So, like, a lot of times I have like the initial questions that are personalized to you guys, and then I'll have 20 or 30 questions or more that I could bounce around. Like if I really need to, like, move it out, I will, but most times I hit an hour easy. Yeah. It's hard not for me to not hit an hour.
For sure.
So I think you knew this was coming, but I have to ask. I want you to take a second to think about your response.
Oh, no.
How do you feel about the Philadelphia Eagles losing the Super Bowl?
Well, let me take a drink.
Yep, that's right. Drink your sorrows.
Yeah.
Drink them up.
It hurts.
Swallow them.
It hurts. It was probably the most fun of a Super Bowl I've watched in a while, because I feel like a lot of times it doesn't come down to the final 2 minutes almost ever.
Right.
Minus the Kansas City Buffalo game wasn't the Super Bowl. It should have been. Because that game was insane. Was it? Mm-hmm. Yeah, the one from like 2 or 3 years ago. But there's a certain sense of stress you get when it's your team. You're so invested that they win, and like at the play that Bradbury did the hold. Yeah. When they stopped them, I was up. I'm like, fuck yes, we're getting the ball back. Woo! And then my brother's like, oh no, there's a flag. I'm like, fuck, the game's over. Because there just wasn't enough time.
Did you think it was a hold?
When they showed it, yeah, it's a hold. He held them. I mean, there's no question about it. I mean, there was a lot of calls that game. But one thing I'll tell you, especially about Philly people, do you see us as a whole bitching constant? Like Bradbury literally in his interview said, yeah, I held him. He's like, it was a good call, Yeah. Whereas like San Fran, when we beat them, all you heard about was, well, if we had our starting quarterback.
We didn't have a quarterback.
If we had this, they suck. Constantly. They were still doing it 2 days, the day before the Super Bowl. I mean, there was a lot of crazy shit, like the turf. Like, I don't know if you're at a turf gate, but they were talking about how the guy that
I heard about it
made the turf, he's a fucking Kansas City Chiefs fan with season tickets, and like, you know, there was a lot of stuff, but like most of Philadelphia would just knew like we should have won. Like, but we weren't robbed. We should have won the game, and we didn't win because we didn't play to our first half that we did. So, and anyone you talk to, there's little tidbits here and there, but we lost that game because of us and nothing else. Like, the hold sucked, and it would have been nice to have a minute and a half to see what Jalen Hurts would do. But because he was incredible that game, dude. The guy's going to get paid.
He really was. Yeah.
And he deserves it, you know? Him and A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown's a fucking monster. I love that guy. But it hurt, man, to answer your question.
Good. That's what I was looking for.
We just wanted you to admit it.
It still hurts, but Kansas City's good, man. I mean, Andy Reid, Mahomes, they're Hall of Famers. They're going to be Hall of Famers. So, I mean, if we were going to lose to anybody, and it was shocking we were favored. We were favored.
That's true, yeah.
So, I knew we were – this is going to sound awful. I knew we were going to lose because anytime, and you guys I'm sure know this, anytime all the announcers from the station pick one team, like if they all just pick the same team, 9 out of 10 that team loses.
Yep. Do they all pick the Eagles?
They all pick the Eagles. And I said to my brother, I'm like,
you're like, that's bad luck. That's not good.
They all just pick the Eagles. And he's like,
totally true.
No.
Oh, no.
Happens all the time, man.
I gotta say, I mean,
I'll be honest.
As much as
you go.
Just go. I was just gonna say, as much as I hate Philadelphia and the Eagles and your fandom altogether, we did miss a tremendous opportunity, and that is seeing the city of Philadelphia celebrate another Super Bowl win, because those people go fucking nuts, dude. I was looking forward to seeing another man eat horse shit or whatever you guys do, climbing light poles. Would you have been out in the crowd in the riots if they had won? Would you have been out there?
Okay, I'm 36. That is a negatory, sir.
I don't know.
I am too old for that shit.
Rioting age.
I will tell you, though, I did go to our parade in 2017, and it was the craziest shit I've ever experienced in my life. Like, I'm sure you saw the video of the girl falling through the bus station. Like, she was, like, sitting on top, and it fell through.
Yep.
People were dancing on those in Center City. I've never seen so many people in my entire life. There was 1,000 cops down there. There was a bunch on horseback. It's like they went back to like 1920. There was block parties like on streets that are normally fucking packed with cars. You know, obviously they closed down. There was, you know, almost 1 million people there. The only thing I'm upset that I missed Kelsey's speech. I saw it. We went to a bar. It's called Xfinity Live. It's like right where all the stadiums are in Philly. And it's like 8 bars in the same building. It's a wild concept, but
it's crazy.
Oh, dude. So it can be fun. But I was there watching it and I wasn't in the crowd. I wish I was in the crowd for that, but it was fucking wild. It's the craziest thing I ever went to. And I'm mad because the fucking parade would have been on a day where for some reason it was abnormally hot here. It was like 65 degrees on a Tuesday and Wednesday, and it would have been one of those days. 2017, nice. It was 2 degrees. It was the coldest I've ever been in my life. I couldn't feel my feet.
Jeez.
Because I was there for 12 hours.
You know? Right. That's a full day event. You think Coachella's cool? You think Bonnaroo's cool? You think Lollapalooza's cool? Have you ever been to Philadelphia after a Super Bowl win? It's nuts.
I had crazy. A backpack full of fucking beer. I didn't even drink it half the time because I was so amazed by just. And you know what? Say what you want about Philly. You know, a lot of times people are like, oh, you know, they're animals, whatever. I didn't see a single fucking fight, and everyone was the nicest I've ever seen. Like, it was probably the safest place you could have been in the city.
Wow. That does surprise me, to be honest. That surprises me.
I live here, and it surprised me. I didn't see one fist fight. I told them the over-under of people dying was at least 5. Not a single person died that day.
Wow.
I'm glad I didn't bet. I would have lost my money.
Yeah, I mean that's good. That's in the grand scheme of things, 0 deaths is probably the best outcome you can hope for.
My headset's dying. Give me 1 second.
I kind of feel bad, Elliot, because we talk about Philly and how we dislike it and how we hate it.
It's all love.
He clearly has no disdain for Minnesota. It's not
I
like
know. This is totally
it's not
one-sided.
I told you guys, I don't mind you guys. I mean, my only slight is when you dress the Rocky statue, but you paid for that, and so did San Fran. I think anytime you mess with the Rocky statue, you lose. I don't know why they didn't learn from you guys. That was a terrible decision, and karma hit them hard. But I have no problem with your Vikings, man. I love
lose. We're losers. We don't win. You wouldn't like us if we won all the time.
You know what it is? It's Kirk Cousins is a good quarterback. He's like he reminds me of Peyton Manning, right? The best regular season quarterback, and then they just falter in the big games in the playoffs, or just playoffs in general.
Yeah,
I mean, look at how many times Peyton Manning was basically the MVP and then loses in the first round.
Yeah. So you heard it here. Rob thinks Kirk should have been MVP over Mahomes this past season. We'll put that on the record.
I wouldn't go with that. But
I want to switch gears for a second and just ask you a question that has nothing to do with what we were just talking about. So your podcast is based around drinking, right? Well, not based around it, but it's a part of it. It's Drink O'Clock, right? We're drinking, during the podcast.
Happy hour somewhere. Yeah.
Do you have a fun drunk story that you would be willing to share on this podcast right now?
Oh, I have plenty of fun drunk stories. Which one would you like to hear? I'll tell you. I'll tell you one that my friends. This is pretty recent. This is when I was streaming, so this was maybe 2 or 3 years ago. So,
heck yeah.
I have a specific. God, this is gonna make me sound like such an alcoholic. I have a drink that I've dubbed the Robberita.
Oh.
Okay. So it's a margarita, but it's my margarita.
Okay.
If you'd like the recipe, it's very simple. I will preface this by saying you cannot drink more than 3 of these or you will 100% black out. 2 is typically a brown out for a normal person. Maybe 1. I don't know. So it's 1 cup tequila, your favorite tequila, whatever you want. So a cup is 5 shots, by the way. I don't know if you,
a full
if you
cup.
know that. Yeah. And then it's a half cup of alcoholic triple sec, whichever brand you want. And half a cup of lime juice. That's the recipe. So I decided. Yeah. Oh yeah, I know.
So, so many questions.
So I decided my fiance she's I think I told you guys this on my podcast. She does modeling. So she was in like I don't know, Nashville, somewhere. She was in Vegas maybe. I don't know. She was doing a shoot and I had Friday, Saturday to myself. So I told my buddies, "Hey, I'm going to stream for 12 hours, whatever. I'll do a Robberita night. And we're all going to drink Robberitas." So I start. And
you said most people can't handle 3. That's 15 shots worth of tequila.
Yeah, I would say most people can't handle 3 of those.
So we started streaming. I chugged my first Robberita in well under an hour. Easy. And I saw at the top, I have this goblet margarita glass, right?
It's not just about the drinking. There's presentation to this.
There's presentation. Well. Yeah, absolutely. It's got to have the salt. Okay. If you do sugar with your margarita, you're an asshole. Hopefully I don't offend any of your viewers. So anyway, so I start streaming. It's me, my buddy Scott, my buddy Dog, his real name's Clayton, and our buddy Micah. And we're doing kind of like a montage of games that we like. So like Player Unknown, PUBG, Valorant, Uno. We did Amongst Us, right? So I chugged one. One was gone. And the only other guy that's drinking them two of my buddies are drinking them with me, and my buddy Clayton, he could put down. We're both short, stout guys, and he could put down. So he's drinking tit for tat with me. So I start number 2. 2 goes down very smoothly. And we're like 2 hours in, 2.5 hours in. I'm on Roberita number 3. No. My buddy Clayton, I think he's only on 2. I don't remember. It starts to get a little shady after a certain point. Mm-hmm. Then I start playing roulette. Like I'm playing a game and streaming, and then I'm playing roulette on my other screen, and like I'm dying in the game, and the guy's like, "What the fuck? You're supposed to be covering me." I'm like, 5! I hit 5, like I'm playing roulette. And I'm streaming this all the time. So I have other people. I think I had like 15 people watch me because I was marketing it that I'm gonna get wasted. And then I finished Roberita 3, which was an awful idea. And then I make a Captain and Coke. So I have a Captain and Coke sitting here. Because I told myself I can't drink more than that. And I'm good for a little bit. And then all of a sudden, all of a sudden, I black out.
Mm-hmm.
I have my whole midstream. I'm like, all right, guys, I got to go to the bathroom. I get up. I don't go to the bathroom. I just take off my pants and I face plant into my bed. My stream is still on. The games are still on. All of my friends are still on, and it's only like 11:30. It's not even that late. My lights, everything is still on. I wake up to like 50 text messages from my friends asking me, "Dude, are you okay? Did you die?" Like, that's my fiance had called me twice, and my friends called my fiance like, "Hey, we think Rob might have died." And I'm like, "I didn't fucking die. I literally just got up, didn't say a fucking thing." My stream was going for like 9 hours.
Holy
like
shit.
After I left.
There was somebody just watching you with your pants off in bed. They were just
luckily my green screen was here. I was safe. No one was like, seeing my butthole or anything. But it was quite the experience, and I haven't done that. Since. I haven't had a Roberita in quite some time because, as I mentioned, it's basically and I will be honest with you, you can't taste that there's a cup of tequila in it. That's the problem. Like your body's like, "Oh, this is delicious," until you forget everything. So I will warn your viewers, if you're going to make a Roberita, 3 is the limit. I told you here.
Give me those ingredients one more time, because I'm gonna make a note. I'm gonna try a Roberita.
It's 1 cup tequila, 1/2 cup alcohol, triple sec. So you can get regular triple sec if you want to be basic.
No,
then
I need a true Roberita.
And then 1/2 cup of lime juice, because you could just buy like the lime juice that you could pour or whatever. Just you heard it here. We'll have a disclaimer here on the Impossibly Unremarkable podcast. At your own behest, do not drink more than 3 Roberitas, or you may die or be pantless somewhere.
Yeah,
there you go.
And now we know the real reason why Rob stopped streaming.
Yeah, it's one of the more embarrassing things that's probably happened to me. You know what it is? Anytime I get drunk like that, like blackout drunk, I just take off my pants and go to sleep. It's like,
hey, there's worse things you could do when you're blackout drunk.
I don't punch walls.
Off and go to sleep.
I don't get mad. I just take off my pants and go to sleep. So, it is what it is.
Well, it looks like we're out of time. So, Rob, with the final minute we have, why don't you just take a second to shout yourself out, what you're doing, what you're promoting?
Yeah, absolutely. So, Drink O'Clock Pod. Drink O'Clock Pod is my socials for everything. So I'm on YouTube, TikTok, Twitter. I'm trying to get better with some of the socials. I think as a podcaster, it's a little tough to keep up with it. I'm sure you guys can attest to that. So
yep. Sure.
I'm a Twitter guy, but apparently a lot of people use Instagram. So I have one, but I've only made 2 posts. So it's like I got to get better with that. But it's an interview style podcast. I post once a week. Certainly if any of your viewers would like to be interviewed and they're interesting, feel free to let me know. I'm down to interview pretty much anybody and their mom. So I am actually booked. I'm booked all the way through March, probably actually mostly through April too. So it's been pretty cool, and I got some cool stuff going. So thanks for having me on, guys. It was fun. Hopefully I didn't talk too much.
No, you did great.
You were perfect,
great.
man.
Thank you so much for coming on. We appreciate it. And right before we sign off, just leave everybody listening with some words of wisdom, words to live their lives by. Go ahead.
Okay. So I've been trying to tell a lot of young people this, but enjoy your life while you're young, because there's going to be a time when you're 36, you're perfectly fine, you go to sleep, you wake up, and you've injured yourself somehow. You have a calf pulled. You were running in your sleep. You think you're going blind, and you also pull your shoulder. And then you're going to go, this is my life. So enjoy being young, because it sucks being old.
Wow. Wise words from Rob. Thanks for coming on. We appreciate it.
Optimistic note to end on.
And enjoy your fucking hair, okay? Because it's gone.